Most information about Shirdi Sai Baba tends to be derived from a book called Sri Sai Sat Charitra written by a disciple called Hemad Pant in 1922 in Marathi. The book is a compilation based on accounts of various disciples and Hemad Pant's personal observations from 1910 onwards. Another devotee, Sri Narsimha Swami, wrote a book Life of Sai Baba. Shirdi Sai Baba's birthplace and date of birth are unknown. There are many claims regarding the birthplace, but original Sri Sai Sat Charitra's 4th Adhyay's OV number 113 mentions the truth that nobody knew the parents' birth or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba regarding these items, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Baba was reluctant to give definitive answers when asked about his parentage and origins, saying the information was unimportant. Baba reportedly arrived at the village of Shirdi in the Ahmednagar district of Maharashtra, India, when he was about 16 years old. Although there is no agreement among biographers about the date of this event, it is generally accepted that Baba stayed in Shirdi for 3 years, disappeared for a year, and then returned permanently around 1858. This suggests a possible birth year of 1838. He led an ascetic life, sitting motionless under a neem tree and meditating while sitting in anasana. The Sai Satcharita recounts the reaction of the villagers. The people of the village were wonder-struck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat or cold. By day he associated with no one, by night he was afraid of nobody. Some of the religiously inclined villagers Mahalsapati, Appa Jogal and Kashinatha visited him regularly. The village children considered him mad and threw stones at him. After some time he left the village and it is unknown where he went or what happened to him. There are some indications that he met with many saints and fakirs and worked as a weaver. He is reported to have said that he fought with the army of Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi during the Indian Rebellion of 1857. Sai Baba's real name remains unknown. The name Sai was given to him by the temple priest Mahalsapati when he returned to Shirdi in 1858. The word Sai refers to a religious mendicant but can also mean God. In several Indian and Middle Eastern languages the term Baba is an honorific signifying grandfather, father, old man or sir. Thus Sai Baba denotes holy father, saintly father. Around this time Sai Baba adopted the practice of dressing in a knee-length one-piece kafni robe and a cloth cap, articles of typical Sufi clothing. Ramgir Bua, a devotee, testified that Sai Baba was dressed like an athlete and sported, long hair flowing down to the end of his spine, when he arrived in Shirdi, and that he never had his head shaved. It was only after Baba forfeited a wrestling match with one Mohiddin Tamboli that he took up the kafni and cloth cap. This attire contributed to Baba's identification as a Muslim fakir and was one reason for the initial hostility toward him in a predominantly Hindu village. For 4 to 5 years, Baba lived under a neem tree and undertook long periods of meditation. His manner was said to be withdrawn and uncommunicative, and he often wandered for long periods in the jungle around Shirdi. He was eventually persuaded to take up residence in an old and dilapidated mosque where he lived a solitary life, surviving by begging for alms and receiving itinerant Hindu or Muslim visitors. In the mosque, he maintained a sacred fire, and gave sacred ash from the fire to guests on their departure. The ash was believed to have healing and apotropic powers. He performed the function of a local hakim and treated the sick by application of ashes. He delivered spiritual teachings to his visitors and recommended the reading of the Ramayana and Bhagavad Gita for Hindus and the Quran for Muslims. He insisted on the indispensability of the unbroken remembrance of God's name and often expressed himself in a cryptic manner with the use of parables, symbols and allegories. Baba is believed to have tended a garden called Lendi Bog, named after a rivulet called Lendi which flowed nearby. The garden still exists. It contains temples commemorating people and animals associated with Baba's life and continues to be visited by pilgrims. Some of Shirdi Sai Baba's disciples became well-known spiritual figures and saints, most notably Mahalsapati, a priest of the Khandoba temple in Shirdi, and Upasani Baba Maharaj, who himself became the teacher of Meher Baba. He was revered by other saints as well, such as Bidkar Maharaj, Gagangiri Maharaj, Janakidas Maharaj and Sati Godavari Mataji. Sai Baba referred to several saints as my brothers, especially the disciples of Swami Samartha of Akkalkot. In 1910, Shirdi Sai Baba's fame began to spread in Mumbai. Being regarded as a saint with the power of performing miracles, and even as an avatar, numerous people came to visit him. They built his first temple at Bhivpuri, Karjat. Final years and death Samadhi of Sai Baba. In August 1918, Shirdi Sai Baba told some of his devotees that he would soon be leaving his mortal body. Towards the end of September, he had high fever and stopped eating. As his condition deteriorated, he asked his disciples to recite holy texts to him, although he also continued to meet visitors. He died on the 15th of October 1918, the same day as that year's Vijayadashami festival. His remains were interred at Bhuti Wada in Shirdi, which later became a place of worship that is known today as Sri Samadhi Mandir or Shirdi Sai Baba Temple. Sai Baba opposed all persecution based on religion or caste. He was an opponent of religious orthodoxy, Christian, Hindu and Muslim. Sai Baba encouraged his devotees to pray, chant God's name, and read holy scriptures. He advised Muslims to study the Quran and Hindus to study texts such as the Ramayana, Bhagavad Gita and Yoga Vasishtha. He instructed his devotees and followers to lead a moral life, help others, love every living being without any discrimination, and develop two important features of character: faith and patience. He criticized atheism. In his teachings, Sai Baba emphasized the importance of performing one's duties without attachment to earthly matters and of being content regardless of the situation. In his personal practice, he observed worship procedures belonging to Islam. Although he did not engage in regular rituals, he allowed the practice of Salah, chanting of Al-Fatiha, and Quran readings at Muslim festival times. Occasionally reciting the Al-Fatiha, Baba enjoyed listening to Maulid and Qawwali accompanied by the tabla and sarangi twice daily. Sai Baba interpreted the religious texts of both Islam and Hinduism. He explained the meaning of the Hindu scriptures in the spirit of Advaita Vedanta, with a strong emphasis on the path of bhakti. All three of the main Hindu spiritual paths, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Karma Yoga, influenced his teachings. Sai Baba encouraged charity and sharing. He said, "Unless there is some relationship or connection, nobody goes anywhere. If any men or creatures come to you, do not discourteously drive them away, but receive them well and treat them with due respect. Sri Hari, God, will certainly be pleased if you give water to the thirsty, bread to the hungry, clothes to the naked, and your veranda to strangers for sitting and resting." If anybody wants any money from you and you are not inclined to give, do not give, but do not bark at him like a dog. Sai Baba stressed the importance of surrender to the true Sadguru, who, having trodden the path to divine consciousness, can lead the disciple through the jungle of spiritual growth. True devotees, he said, always meditate upon the Sadguru with love, and surrender themselves completely to him. When he spoke of himself in this sense, he explained his meaning thus. You need not go anywhere in search of me. Barring your name and form, there exists in you, as well as in all beings, a sense of being or consciousness of existence. That is, me. Knowing this, you see me inside yourself, and in all beings. If you practice this, you will realize all pervasiveness and thus be as one with me. In a verse of the midday aarti, devotees sing. In essence, there is no difference whatever between Hindu and Muslim. You took birth in human body to show this. You look with affection on both Hindus and Muslims. This, Sai, who pervades all, as the soul of all, demonstrates. Baba often talked about the Hindu gods and quoted from sacred texts. On occasion he would comment on passages from the Bhagavad Gita, the Isha Upanishad, and others. The names of Krishna and Rama were sacred to him. With Muslim followers, he talked of Allah and the Quran, often quoting Persian verses. He frequently used the expression, Allah rakhega veer rahena. Let us be content with what we have, and submit our will to Allah. He told his listeners that he, like them, was but a devotee of Allah, a humble fakir with 2 arms and 2 legs. In later years, Parsis and Christians would also visit him in Shirdi. He respected all faiths, and taught that all are particular paths toward one ineffable goal. His notion of the unity of all mankind was congruous with both Advaitism and Sufism. God being one and the master of all also meant that all his creatures were part of one big family, writes Sikand. This belief was entirely in keeping with both the Bhakti philosophy as well as the teachings of the Sufis, who believed that the light of God exists in every creature, indeed in every particle of his creation. For Sai Baba, all paths were equally valid, Ishwar and Allah being synonymous. People coming to his abode were so taken aback to see Hindus, Muslims, and others living together so peacefully that in many instances it changed their entire lives and belief systems.